Shalom, Kol Halah, Wahawad, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash, Daban Sadel, the apostles at Great Millstone, rule well, and who have taught his knowledge. Salutations to you fellow laborers out there doing the work week in and week out. Shalom to the few that believe as well. This is Iconoclasm, all right? And I just entitled the video Iconoclasm. And you Akim out there already know this is a heavy topic right now. You know, going into the Dark Ages, going into the time where Jake ruled in Europe, and they was calling themselves Moors, you know, and that's a topic in itself, you know, the reason why they was calling themselves Moors. But Lord willing, this video is edifying, and it just is a video just laying back and off. Like I said, even the videos I did with the brothers down in Chicago, which I had a beautiful time down there, fellowship with the elders and the young elders and the bishops and the deacons and all the Akim out there. You know, I had a beautiful time. And I brought this out. I'll be fellowship with those brothers again soon. So Shalakia, for those of you that watch the channel, I don't have any camp videos for this week because I was camping with those brothers down in Chicago. So you can watch their page and you will see me out there in the highways and hedges. And let's jump right into the video. So it says Iconoclasm. It says 1797 in reference to an act of breaking or destroying idols physically. It says figuratively from 1858 in reference to beliefs, cherished institutions, etc. See Iconoclast. So it says Iconoclast, breaker or destroyer of images. And this is what Esau was doing, all right? Yeah, the iconoclast is actual person, or it can be made plural with the S on the end. People who go around and break religious art or paintings, and this is what Esau was doing. Excuse me, when he came into power. He came into power, and what he would do is he would break down and destroy the images of the Israelites that ruled up in Europe, which, like I said, again, they would call themselves the Moors. And then he would paint the images over by whitewashing them and making the hair on them even stringy looking. Because Esau has yellow thin hair and stringy hair. And Jake have thick, woolly, all right, also known as nappy hair. All right. So, this is a quick little history from Wikipedia, Russian icons. It says the use and making of icons entered ancient Russia, which is Russia, following its conversion to Orthodox Christianity in AD 988. As a general rule, these icons strictly follow models and formulas hallowed by Byzantine art, led from the capital in Constantinople. As time passed, the Russians widened the vocabulary of types and styles for far beyond anything found elsewhere in the Orthodox world. It says, the personal, innovative, and creative traditions of Western European religious art were largely lacking in Russia before the 17th century, which is not true. All right. First and foremost, the religious art that was already in Russia came from the Moors, and so when the Edomites, all right, or the Russian Edomites, when they all came in that land, it was already there. They just didn't destroy it. They kind of preserved it. All right, and then other places like the Vatican Church, where they put it in a vault in the basement and hide it because they know who the real image. Well, they know who the real Israelites are, and they hide the fact that they are so-called Negro, Latino, Native American people, especially when it come down to to the ancient arts and precious things that Jake made while ruling in Europe. I gotta go to precept real quick. Let's go to let's get a precept. This is the book of Job 9:24. It says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" Right. So when you see the faces of the judges being covered, meaning what? Being changed, right? Matter of fact, we're gonna go to the blue letter and look that up as well. Because when you see them being changed, who's the one doing it? Is it not the so-called white man, which his name is Esau, Edom in the Bible? The answer is yes. Esau did that. All right. Let's get Job 9:24 on the blue letter. All right. See what the word there is for covered. Okay. It says kasa. It says to cover, conceal, hide. To be covered, to cover, clothe, to cover, conceal, to cover over, spread over. Yeah. So that's pretty much what Esau did. He hid the images of the true judges, which are the Most High, first and foremost, his son. Then you have the angels, and then you have the children of Israel, which are the special angels down here on earth. And the reason I say that because someone say, "Well, we are angels." Yeah, we are angels in bodies. I'm sorry. So that may be true, but there are a special set of angels that the Heavenly Father have deemed to be a peculiar treasure unto himself, and that is the children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native American Indians, as you call us today. So, again, when you look at the fact that they're not so-called dark images anymore when it comes down to religious art, well, who did that? All right, like when you type in the word Jesus, right? Let's go to it real quick. Just like if you want to click on here, go to Google. We're going to pull it up real quick. Let's go to Google. There we go. When you type in Jesus, right, and you click on images, right, instantly, these are the images that you come up with, right? Which we know that Jesus is not his name, by the way. We know his name is Yahweh. So when you look at it, these are images of so-called white people, which they are the Edomites. And this is why the Bible calls them the wicked. All right, Malachi 1:4 says that they're the wicked. All right, see? Now, this is straight up blasphemy because the Heavenly Father, all right, did not make his son to look like a leopard. All right, he didn't come down this earth with leprosy, okay, which is a disease and a condition, all right, that the so-called white race, all right, so-called Caucasian race have, all right, and that's that's the image that you see today. And when you go in the Bible, it describes how so-called Jesus, again, his name is Yahweh, it tells you how he look. And it's clearly not that. It's the opposite of that. All right? This is the book of Malachi 1:4. It says, "Whereas Edom saith, We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord, Yahweh, had indignation forever." So you're the border of wickedness, Esau, Edom. All right? Anytime it says Edom, it means Esau. Anytime it says Esau, it's talking about Edom. How do we know that? Because, again, you got to go back to Genesis 36, right? Genesis 36:8. "Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir." So anytime it says Esau, Edom, and even Mount Seir, it's pertaining to who? The Edomites. And you're the wicked. All right, you're the border of wickedness. You're the wicked, All right, and the earth was given into your hands, and that's the reason why you have a thing called iconoclasm that took place during the Renaissance, when you came back into power and you went out and deceived the earth into thinking that the Heavenly Father is a so-called white man, thinking that his son is a so-called white man, thinking that the angels is a so-called white man, thinking that the children of Israel are so-called white people. Excuse me. And that's blasphemy. Straight up blasphemy. All right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20. And I can start at the top, and I'm going to jump down a bit. Revelation 20:1, it says, "And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and the great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years." Yeah, so about 325 to 1325, all right, because 325 is when the Holy Roman Empire was established. That's when Jake fully had control and was no longer known as the Roman Empire that was ruled by Edom, right? That was fully under the control of Israelites. All right. That's why it was known as the Holy Roman Empire. They don't really talk about the Holy Roman Empire that much. Because you know why? They would have to admit that the children of Israel are so-called, you go into history, it'll say the Jews, or it says Jewish, right? And you see the images of them. They would have to admit that they were dark people. Septimius Severus alone, all right, owned up until Constantine the Great, all right, dark people, and they'll try to say, oh, they're African, of North African barbar, whatever. They throw that little lie in there, knowing that they're the Jews, It says and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Again, that's that 1,000-year period where, like I said, 325 on up to 1325, when the Renaissance began, and then the Iconoclasm began in Rome, Italy, or Italy, however you pronounce it, or word. I'm sorry, I think it's Rome, Italy. All right. And when you go into that time period, that's when they start to change the images. All right. And even during that time period, you had it where the image of so-called Jesus was changed into this Cesare Borgia looking guy that comes from the Borgia family. That's a part of the history in itself. All right. So continuing on, verse 3, it says, "And cast him in the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season." And that little season began, all right, during that time period, late 1200s, early 1300s, when Esau was coming out of the Caucasus Mountains. And then he began to slowly but surely take down Jake, especially during that Black Plague that happened during that time period, the early 1300s. Cause that helped Jake come down, cause that Black Plague was a what you would call it was epidemic or pandemic like you have today. It was the same thing that happened back then during that time. All right. That Black Plague took down a lot of Jake's strongholds. All right. Let's jump down to verse 7. It says, verse 7, "And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth." Now, didn't that happen? The same time period I'm talking about right now is when Satan, which come to you in the physical form, all right, the physical counterparts, that is, all right, of the spiritual demon Satan, are the Edomites, the so-called white people. during that time period, they went out into the earth and deceived the nations and forced their way of living and forced their religion and images upon the whole earth. Okay, that's what happened. And you have to look. You got to look in history, all right, and to understand what actually took place. Because they don't teach you about the Dark Ages in school. They don't teach you about when so-called Negroes, all right, or the Moors, all right, ruled in Europe. And even the Vikings was during the time of the Dark Ages. Because the Vikings were dark people. They were Israelites. So, again, how was that done? That's done by Esau. Okay? Esau, Edom. Now, when I typed in Jesus, as you can see, when I had went to it right on the Google, I'll bring it up again. Let me get this real quick. When I type it in, you see so-called white images come up, right? You see it, right? Now, this is what it says in the Bible. Let's go back to the precept I just pulled up. First Maccabees 3 and 48. Let it come up. This is First Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 48. It says, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen, all right, who are the heathen? All the nations outside of the nation of Israel. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen has sought to paint the likeness of their images. Right. So, and this, in the time of the Maccabees was during the time of the Greeks, right? So, even back then, they did the same thing. They had this iconoclasm going on back then. Because why? Inside the book, all right, which is the Bible, right? The scriptures, all right, they show you and tell you how the children of Israel look. All right. So, again, this is something that was done, all right, in the Greeks, right? When you look it up, it said Japhet, but we know that Japhet was pushed out. You know, we know about the real Japhetic people, right? The Etruscans, so on and so forth, right? But they were pushed out. Who took their place, or took over their lands, I should say? It was Esau, Edom. All right. So let's go from there. All right, let's go from there. Shalaki for the noise. Kids outside playing. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 62. Sorry. Psalms chapter 62, verse 4. It says, they only consort to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. So, who's the one that's being cast down from his excellency? Jacob, Israel. All right. They don't want you to know that you were, once, thriving and royal people that lived and ruled in Europe. All right, and created a lot of good things. All right, as far as the architecture of the things they built, the castles, the palaces they made. We were going into that when I was down there with the Chicago camp. All right, and we was going into, well, the elder was going into it. We was we were always putting our little 2 cents in, right, along with the elders, right, and we was going into that. How Jake was living in Europe. All right, so it's Esau that perpetuates this lie that he puts on the sons of Jacob. Like the sons of Jacob come from, living like um, wild beasts of the field when that was him. When that was him living like wild beasts in the field when he lived in the mountains. All right. Jeremiah 51:19. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things. And Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. All right. So we know, all right, that Jacob is the former of all things. Even Esau being a ruler right now, he didn't even know how to live royal the way that the sons of Jacob know how to live. Because when the sons of Jacob get money, the first thing that comes out is how royal they are by the things that they buy. Our people buy the most exclusive, uh, um, lavish and luxurious things that money can buy when they get money. Jacob instantly leave the hood, buy a mansion type of house out on the outskirts that got land. And I seen it with my own eyes. I graduated high school back in the day and got there, moved down here to Atlanta, Georgia. And those jakes down there in Atlanta, Georgia that got money, they don't have a house in the city. They have a house right on the outskirts or the countryside of town or the country parts of the city, which is the outskirts. A nice house, and it lives on, I'm sorry, a nice house and it's set on many acres. All right. And the royalness instantly shows. Matter of fact, this Jake Evander Holyfield, to this very day, he had his house built from the ground up. His house was so big that it sat on the market for so long because no one wanted to buy it because it costed too much. And they said it was too much to maintain. And eventually this guy, this rap mogul, Rick Ross, he bought Evander Holyfield old property, that house I'm talking about, and he lives in it right now, which is right outside Atlanta. All right, and that goes to show you how the sons of Jacob live, man. Let's go to Google. Matter of fact, I'll show you that house real briefly. Let me show you that real quick. I'm gonna show you that house. Yeah, here it is right here. This is the house he had built. It says Evander Holyfield had to sell a 109-room mansion to Rick Ross. So this is that old house that he had. All right, and this is an aerial view of the property. Look at that. Come on, man. That takes acres to build. All that property he had, 109 rooms. And this man, like this Jake had a lot of kids. All right. Just to give you a preview, all right, a preview of you know of how things are gonna look on a small level. All right, that's a small level right there. Because even though that's a nice house, man, the houses that we're gonna have when we're in rulership forever and never, all right, and never come out of rulership, are gonna be way far vast, beyond that. You know, even the house that King Solomon had, which I'm not gonna get into that today, but you know, the point is that Jake is royal, and they know it within themselves that they are royal because it shows. All right, Um, let's go from there. I want to get not that one, cause I'm gonna go to Second Thessalonians. This is Second Thessalonians, and chapter 2. I'm gonna go down to verse 8. Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8. It says, "And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming." Because the wicked again is Esau, Edom. And the reason why you're going to be consumed and destroyed, because you're the one that have deceived the whole world. All right, you've greatly offended, you've blasphemed. All right, everything that pertains to wickedness, the so-called white man Esau, Edom have done it. Okay, it says, verse 9, "Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders." See, you Edomites, this is how you do. All right, you a liar, man. You a nation of liars, man. All right, and then what the scriptures say in Psalms 58:3. Psalms 58:3 says, "The wicked are estranged from the womb; they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies." You're the one that perpetuated these lies throughout the earth. You're the one that got the world to thinking that you were the Israelites and the Most High like you and Son and the angels, and just like, all the vast majority of the people on the earth that are of brown pigment or melanated, like we just come out of nowhere, or like we just a cursed people. When you're the curse, all right. That's why the scriptures say to bring the people of my curse to judgment, which are the Edomites. You have a lot to pay for. All right, for all the deceitfulness that you've done and created throughout the earth. All right, and that's what we're patiently waiting on. All right, but anyways, I'm gonna close. Lord willing, this video was edifying. Until next time, I want to say to all you Akim out there, Shalom.